Hello everyone, my name is Jorge Diaz, President and Founder of Larry Jacob Internet Marketing, and I bring you another episode of Defining Infusionsoft Success. This week my distinguished guest is Paul Sokol. Many of you probably know him. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, George? Thanks for having me.
Paul, I just have to say I love your shirt and the whole dark ambience. It goes perfect with your branding.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Paul is a former Infusionite, a double E, I found out. He's got a real hardcore tech background like I do. I've got a master's in computer science. He's got a master's in double E. And we both ended up in marketing, go figure. So, hey, thank you for joining me. One of the things that we were talking about was that you are going to be one of our speakers at the upcoming ICON.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking at ICON 17. This is going to be my 5th year in a row. I'm super excited that they still like me enough to invite me back and have me talk to people about cool stuff like automation. So yeah, I know you're going to be there. I'm looking forward to meeting you and anybody else that might be watching. Come up and say hi. I love meeting people in person, especially for, like we were talking about it, that you see all these names online and you know people, but you don't actually know them until you meet them in person. And I think you were sharing that was when you went to the most recent TNC, that was your experience. You got to meet all these people in person for the first time. So
yeah, no, I mean, I tell you, it was a real, it's funny because you kind of build people up, I guess, depending on how they branded themselves. And it's not that they're less impressive in person, but they're real people in person. And that's actually something I appreciate. You demystify them and you have a beer with them and it's kind of like, hey, they're just like me, except they just happen to be, the Thrive Theme person or the LearnDash person. Because those are some of the people that I met when I was there.
Yeah, that is totally cool. And you said that they're normal people. This is me. I'm sitting here on, whatever day of the week it is. I lose track unless it's a Friday wearing my normal metal shirt that I would.
Yeah, If you're at ICON, you will notice that Paul sometimes will wear this really long black, heavy metal jacket. You cannot miss him.
Yeah, it's a big lab coat with a bunch of Infusionsoft patches.
And
there's rumors that I may be turning my hair into a big Viking braid to go along with the theme of my talk. So that may happen too.
Let's see if the rumors come true. Okay, we'll have fun with that. So yeah, tell us the topic that they've selected you to be speaking about.
So the topic it's basically kind of choosing your own automation adventure. I think that the exact title was something like Discovering New Adventures in Automation, but the idea that I had is I wanted to make it different than a normal talk that you would see at a conference like ICON, So someone's standing up there, they talk, they teach some cool stuff, and then maybe they're offering something at the end. What I want to do is make it a little more interactive. So it's actually going to be a 2-part presentation where in the first part of the presentation, of course, it's to choose your own automation adventure. So in order to choose your adventure, you have to first know where you're at. So in the first part of the presentation, I'm going to be helping you break down the mechanics of just what it is that you're offering. I've identified 11 data points effectively on everything that's being sold and how to break it down and how it impacts the attracting, selling, or wowing. So for example, if you have an assisted transaction, for example, meaning they have to talk to a human.
Okay, so so something that's not fully automated but requires some conversation with the sales rep.
Yeah, the transaction itself, they have to interact with the human. If it's assisted, that means something totally different as far as what you can automate compared to if it's unassisted.
Sure.
And there's 11 of those things like that. These really high level dimensions, if you want to say, to slice an offer. And that's the first part of the presentation. It is interactive because I'm going to be teaching each one of these, and you're going to have a worksheet where you're actually breaking down your own offer.
Gotcha.
And you have to do that. And it's a group thing, and I'm going to make sure that everybody's following along.
Nice.
And we all go together at once. Yeah, it's a community.
So you'll kind of be checking things off based on, I found that I've matched this, and that.
Right. So, okay, I'm primarily B2B. Okay, cool. Are you B2B or B2C? That's what I am. All right, great. Talk a couple of more. Are you assisted or unassisted? Okay, I'm assisted. That's all part 1. And you have to go through part 1 to get value out of part 2, because in part 2, I'm now going to look at the different combinations along with a couple of rules I've learned from how Vikings approached their game of war back in the day, which is where the Viking braid's gonna come in. I gotta actually find someone to do it. So that's why I'm saying if I can get someone to do it, do a proper, war braid. But in the second part, it's going to be like, all right, if you're a combination, if you're a B2B that's an assisted transaction, and these other couple of things, use the sales pipeline starter kit from the marketplace. Here's why, da 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 da. If you're this kind of business,
so you're gonna
this
be
is how you want to approach your marketing end of things.
So you're gonna be referencing things in the marketplace that they can make use of.
Yeah, my goal, if I've done my job right, is you walk out of that presentation with at least one campaign model for how you can attract, sell, and wow based on your specific offer. So like I said, it's really neat. You're going to be in this room with hundreds or so people, I don't know, but it's going to be individual recommendations as to what they can use in their business, or pseudo-individual recommendations, obviously, because there's a lot of similarities. And I haven't seen anybody ever do anything like that. So
no, and that's good, because I tell you what, the marketplace is, it's pretty big. And as a matter of fact, I had an episode prior to this one where one of the biggest issues with people on membership sites is they get overwhelmed. There's so much there that you kind of get the deer in the headlights. There's so much there you don't even know where to start. And something like this, the marketplace is one of those where, I go in there and it's like, okay, where do I even start? And if you can provide a roadmap.
Can I give you a pro tip? Sorry to cut you off on that. Ask around. Internally, inside Infusionsoft, I created something called because I was the guy that built all the marketplace campaigns. I don't know if you knew that. That was part of my job. I didn't know that. Okay. When I worked in the product team for the 2-3 years, whatever, that was a big part of my role, was to do that. That's why every month I was putting them out. That was my job. Right. The idea is that, and I totally just lost my train of thought there.
There's like a catalog that you built, right? Or something.
Oh, that's what it was. The cheat sheet.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you get by without that one. That seems interesting.
No, absolutely. Thank you. It was a cheat sheet because there was 70, 80 models in there, and so it's a two-sided piece of paper that on the front side it's strategic recommendations. So it's like, do you need to track your list? Do you need to get paid? Whatever. And then it lists all the campaigns in the marketplace that you could use for that. And then on the other side, it's a tactical breakdown. So do you need a web form? Do you need link click automation? Whatever. Here's the campaigns that contain those elements. So it's called the Marketplace Cheat Sheet, and it's available to any internal Infusionsoft employee. They can pull it off of the field. And I know that it's floating around in the partner community somewhere, so bug any employees that you might know for it.
No, I'll get a hold of the people that are in charge of, the lady that's in charge of my territory.
Because it's really, really handy. It's like a codex of the marketplace campaigns, basically. And effectively, it's like a really depersonalized, super condensed version of what my talk's going to be without any explanation as to why. It's basically just like, here's the prescription without any visiting the doctor or going through tests or anything.
Oh, there you go.
That's what the cheat sheet is. Yeah, it is handy. So.
And again, we're campaign builders, and I guess we've got our standard things. When you're building membership sites, it's how do I get, how do I log in? How do I issue a password? How do I send out welcome messages? There's certain things that we have as our marketplace of sorts. But honestly, I rarely go in there. And I'm sure there's a bunch of resources we're probably, passing up.
A great place to start, I'd go to Infusionsoft's YouTube channel, because every campaign of the month, part of that offering was a video walking through how each of the campaigns work. So instead of having to blow a bunch of time picking through the marketplace, which, whatever, the experience is what it is, the videos are a quick overview of here's what it does, here's how it works. And the titles of the videos are also pretty self-descriptive too. So. If you're looking for something in particular, that might be a good place to start.
Okay. I tell you what, I usually go there and you start like reading through the icon presentations, and you kind of go, okay, is this going to be something I've seen before? Again, I'm a partner. I'm not a first-time attendee. I've probably been to the last 6 of these. But this might be one that I actually show up to.
That's so flattering. If you're a certified partner, I would strongly advise attending this session, because what I teach you in that first half of how to break down an offer It's exactly the same process you can use for any new potential client. Part of the first conversation is getting clear about that. What are they offering in the first place? And then as a certified partner, you know what strategies will work for that. So that's kind of my gift to the partner community for this year through an icon presentation.
Cool.
Because I use this in my business personally. Anybody wants to work with me, the first thing is a call where we cover that and actually get a one-page out of it with those distinctions and things laid out. And then if I can help them, then it makes sense to talk about, you know.
Yeah, and let me ask you, I mean, that might be something that's actionable with or without having a partner build something for you. Someone wants to do it themselves. They've actually made some progress in that direction, right?
Yeah, so if you're not looking, because again, this is Icon, that the target audience is small businesses.
Right.
They're only going to need to go through this once, break down their offer once, because that's what they're selling, you know. But if you're a partner or somebody that's helping implement, you're working with a lot of different species of offers out there. And so being able to quickly discern which is what kind of animal you're dealing with, the faster you can say, all right, let's try this strategy, this and this.
Neat. Now, when we were preparing for this, you had told me that you are an automated experience designer, which I just thought was a really cool title. Kind of go over that a little bit. Like, what's your focus?
So my focus is in the field and the study of automated experience design. And this is a new field that's been undeclared for probably maybe about the last 10 years or so it's actually existed. And it puts together key components from specific disciplines. Because when you say an automated experience, those have actually existed for a long time. And ATM is an example of an automated experience. A theme park ride is an automated experience, right? When you give your email for an ebook, that's an automated experience. Recently in your grocery stores, you are checking out on your own. It's an automated experience. So there's core elements and some empirical pillars to automated experience design, and that's kind of what I study and what I'm learning and teaching now, because it really combines a couple of different disciplines. It combines the disciplines of, first of all, understanding human behavior and psychology. So this is where you're needing to understand sales and persuasion tactics. Like I've actually got a book right here. It's really cool if you're a copywriter. It's called Words That Sell. And it's literally just a glossary of words. So this is the page for fast. And here's all the words we could use instead of fast. Dashes, sprints, scoots, smokes, zooms, plunges, soars. So you have to understand that, how to talk to people based on their psychology and their behavior. Again, you have to understand the ability to, have a conversation that results in a particular outcome, which is, like a sales conversation or marketing conversation. Right. You also have to understand the process methodology. So you actually have to have understanding and training in processes, discerning what are the necessary steps and what are the specific order they must occur in. Because for an automated experience, you have to understand the experience you're creating in the first place. Yeah,
it's interesting. This brings me back. I mean, I'm kind of an old-time programmer at IBM. We used to have a whole area called human factors, and they were guys that decided. I mean, they studied things like how do you put the dials on a stove so that it's obvious which dial goes with which one, and I mean, it was kind of interesting the kind of stuff that those guys studied. And here I am, a programmer at the time, and I was like going, "Oh my gosh, someone thinks about that. Go figure." And imagine how far it's come since I went to school back in the 80s.
It's really interesting. Yeah, this field, it combined. We're seeing people out there that have been this and they're not aware of it yet. I'm trying to think who's really stellar at automation lately. You would have guys that usually you see automated experience design specializing in industry. So you guys have Frank Kern, a digital marketer, are automated experience designers specializing in marketing and sales tactics. Right. But they're not necessarily specializing in fulfillment tactics necessarily. That's kind of like where you are in the membership site, the fulfillment of stuff. But it's really it's interesting to see the interdisciplinary of it's this really cool blend between, again, human psychology, processes, understanding technology, and then again general kind of just how to progress a conversation, whatever it is. And my goal is to have an army of 1,000 or more automated experience designers running around the world fighting the war against business failure. And I don't know what that looks like yet. And that's a really big vision that's out there, but that's written down, and that's what I'm going for. So
Good for you.
I figure I'm young enough I can do it. So that's what I'm specializing in. Because most people forget that Infusionsoft at the end of the day is just a tool, man. That's all it is. It's a hammer. A lot of people are running around whacking their thumb at the hammer, getting pissed off at the hammer. The reason I was so good at it as a tool is because I understood why. I wasn't just swinging wildly. This is, okay, we're trying to hang a picture that's this weight. We need to use this kind of picture wire. We need to put it at this place in the wall. Here's where we should brace it. And the hammer's just a tool. So that's why I like automated experience design, because it's platform agnostic. If you understand what you're doing, it doesn't matter what you use, man. I can build a $1 million sales funnel MailChimp, similarly that I can do it in Infusionsoft. There's just bells and whistles. But the strategy at the end of the day is the same. You follow up with someone and give them something that they can't resist and have them buy it.
Cool. Well, Paul, thank you so much for joining me. It was interesting. I look forward to seeing you actually in the flesh, alive, in Arizona. That's I guess April 20, the week of April 20th, I think it is. I don't have the exact dates.
I think it's like the 25th to 27th. I don't have my calendar open. Something like that. I know it's in April. It's later this year. Last year it was like,
a lot
think it would have already been done by now. Actually.
But I look forward to meeting you. I'll see if I make a point of attending that one, unless I have like a drastic customer meeting while I'm there, but that's unlikely. So,
sure. And I'll make sure to take it personally too. I'll
thank you. Thank you. Search me out and I will kill you. So very good, Paul. Hey, pleasure talking to you, and we'll see you soon enough.
All right. Sounds good, George. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.